Hi, this is Ben from the band Lind Optical. We're back with another one of our behind the scenes videos. In this video we're looking at the making of our track called Paradise. Now this track has lyrics that are all along the theme of paradise or heaven or ecstasy, that kind of thing. So in this particular video we're going to be looking at ways in which we've chosen particular samples or used particular production techniques to heighten this sort of heavenly atmosphere for the song. Before I go on, it's probably worth saying that actually a lot of the examples that I give in this particular video, when you listen to them in the actual final song, they're so subtle in the final mix as to almost be imperceptible at times. But it's still fun to know about them. So why don't we start with the opening section. In this particular section I wanted to create a real sort of dreamy, heavenly atmosphere. So one of the ways I went about that was to take the vocal sample that we were using and then put a load of echo effect on it to make it sound more dreamy and more spacious. Then after that I thought, heaven, what do we think? Harps, choirs, bells? Well, they're all here. Let's find out how. So start off by playing a little bit of harp and then putting a sort of echo effect on that to make it sound more spacious. And then choir, I decided to go for a boys' choir to make it sound a little bit more sort of cheruby. And who better for boys' choir than the composer Benjamin Britten? So I started off with a piece of Benjamin Britten here, and at a particular point I caught a repeating loop, which I then pitched up in pitch to fit in with the same key as my track. Also, you can hear here, I've isolated a few of the sort of harp and bell samples that I've used. You can hear a low harp here, you can hear a descending wind chime sound and another bell sound. All of these sounds are buried subtly in the mix throughout the song, so have a listen out for those. But for now, let's listen to that introductory section again and see how many of these sounds you can actually pick out. Then there's also a sort of tinkly, heavenly sort of keyboard sound that occurs throughout the track at particular points. So it's perhaps worth just isolating this so we can see how this is made up. Start off by just getting a nice keyboard sound and just playing a few nice little notes sort of bunched together. Then put this filter on it which cuts off the sort of treble and sort of sweeps up and down in frequency. Then put a bit of delay on that as well to give this a spacious echo effect. So why don't we have a listen to this in the actual context of the final mix. Quite quiet, but you can just about hear it in there. So, what other heavenly references are there in this particular track? Well, as you can hear here, there's this particular choir sample which keeps on recurring throughout the song. But I've talked about that in another video, so I won't go into it more here. But on top of that, I decided to really up the ante on the bells front by putting in these big, massive cathedral church bells over in the left-hand speaker. Let's have a listen to that in the final mix. They're quite quiet, but they are there, so you'll hear them if you listen for them. Then, as I was working on this middle section, I wanted to really heighten the sort of ecstatic sense to it as much as I could. And I was really trying to think of how to do this, and my mind started drifting to the song Welcome to the Pleasure Dome by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, which starts with these amazingly atmospheric samples, and I was trying to think maybe I could do something like that here. I wanted some kind of really sort of heightened, ecstatic vocal sample, I don't know, someone praying fervently or something. In the end I settled for a slightly different solution and went for a sample from a film called Sex and Lucia, a Spanish film, very good film, quite David Lynchy in a way. But I ended up getting this sort of deep, sexual, heavy breathing sound. I tried to disguise it, put it down in pitch. Also, really rather chickened out and put it very low in the mix because I really didn't want this to be sort of a sex song or anything. But it did just give it that little extra sort of ecstatic lift. So let's have a listen to that in the final mix. You'll hear it here very, very low in the mix, as I say, but listen around when the singer's singing the word ecstasy. You can hear just over in the right speaker this sort of breathing sound. Have a listen to that. Okay, so now you know my dirty secret. So, on that bombshell, perhaps it's time to wrap up. So, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to seeing you on another one of these videos sometime soon. This is Ben from the band Lind Optical signing off. So, thanks very much. Bye.